Welcome back to the Quakecast. Today's episode is covering smej2, which is the Suomi Mappers Episode Jam. The first one came out in December 19, and the second one will be out on February 27th, if all goes well. Our guests today are VuRRKa, Zigi, Immorpher, Newhouse, and Smilecythe. And of course, Greenwood is joining us as well. Now, Suomi is another word for Finland or Finnish people and some other things. I looked on Wikipedia, some machine gun or something. But anyway, we're going to cover everything in this Finnish Mappers Episode Jam. So we're just going to jump right in. All right, so let's get VuRRKa to introduce smej2.
The smej2, it's again meant for the more experienced players, maybe on the harder side of things.
That's it?
I don't know what else to say. You have to ask questions.
So what exactly is smej?
Smej.
Smej. It's not smej, it's smej.
Okay, so can you basically tell us what is smej?
Smej is a group of Finnish people making Quake episodes together. That's it in the nutshell.
Now, with the last smej episode, there was each map had references to like Finnish culture and other kind of like Finnish related stuff. Did you kind of do the similar kind of route?
Yeah, every map has a reference. Even the start map again has a reference to Finland, or being a Finn.
Cool. Do you have the same amount? Do you have the same lineup as far as mappers go as the last episode?
We have one new mapper, Lugia, who is a reigning national champion of Quake on retro machines.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is his first map, just like Ziggy had his first map on the first smej.
Well, that's pretty cool. Is since he's debuting, it's his first Quake map that he's designed. Is he also going to be like Ziggy was the secret map of the episode?
Yep. It's completely different than the rest of the maps, so it has to be a secret map.
Gotcha.
You're in for a treat and a surprise.
Oh, that's nice. Well, I know, like with Ziggy's, if anybody out there hasn't played it already, highly recommend playing the original smej episode, the one that came out in late December of 2019. Yeah, Ziggy's map was different than the rest because it was a low gravity map, which, is something that you don't normally come across in general with Quake maps. So that was pretty darn neat.
Yeah, when I'm making music, I usually have little nicknames I give the maps as I'm looking through them, and Ziggy's was Bouncy Castle.
Bouncy Castle?
Nice.
Yeah.
It's what it was. Not as colorful as a child's Bouncy Castle, though.
What was my map called?
Yours was Toxic, because of all the brains.
I thought I am the toxic one.
And I don't remember all of them, but Uko's was Ditch.
That's good. That's apt.
Every group has its own toxic member.
Well,
usually it's me.
I have to say that I have not played through all the maps, but I've looked at all the maps, and my jaw was on the desk last night looking through everything. Just, first of all, smej was next level and innovative, a lot of cool stuff, but it seems like this one is just, you guys just cranked it up to 11. So do you want to talk about the feedback you got from smej 1 and then how that informed your work on smej 2?
The difficulty factor was, well, it started difficult on the first smej. This one is difficult overall, but the difficulty ramps up at the end this time. And we don't want it to be just another map back or just another episode. We want to make something special. That's why we take our time with it. We started work on this one May 2020.
Yeah, I can say that's without reservation that there are some things that we have not seen in Quake in these maps that I can recall. Although Greenwood's much more of an accomplished historian of Quake at this point. But I mean, what do you, Greenwood, what do you had? Like, what struck you when you were playing and looking at some of these maps? They're epic size too. We're talking, some of this stuff is huge.
Well, what I was talking with some of the folks here earlier before we started recording was what I got a kick out of was the attention to detail. The two maps that I had a chance to play were Ziggy's map and Uko's map, and just right when I played the first map of Ziggy's, I forgot what room I was in, and I heard normally when you play Quake, you get the enforcer with the halt or the freeze or whatever, and all of a sudden I'm like, what the yeah. Even the enforcers, you talk about attention to detail, even the enforcers are yelling at you in Finnish, which I thought was a pretty neat touch. It's just very, very well done, well thought out and executed. The lighting on both of those maps was beautifully done. And like what VuRRKa was saying, that the difficulty spike, it's probably, if you're a casual player, this might, give you definitely a run for your money. Those two maps in particular that I played, I got through them okay, but I mean, there was a couple points here and there when I definitely felt the pressure. That's for sure. And then what VuRRKa was saying, I guess that was one of the issue that you guys tried to fix from last time, because it wasn't such a smooth gradual deal. It was more like a shifted in the high gear right out the gate, huh?
Yeah, the difficulty ramps would be at more even side this time. The fifth map has 1,000 monsters on the most difficult co-op setting, and the second map has a little less than 200. So there's a little ramp up. And beating the end map will be like something to brag on. It's like pistol starting ultra-violence sigil.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I sneakily playtest the maps because VuRRKa has a directory, and that was kind of similar with the previous smej. And when I played Smilecythe's map, I didn't think it was that difficult in terms of combat, but it was a step up in terms of puzzles. But a lot of times it was just a matter of trying to get the Quake player to take a step back and think about how this jumping progression should go. Because a lot of times you try something for the first time and you get stuck in your head like, oh, I know the solution to it. And that was the wrong way to approach Smilecythe's map, is to be more explorative, which is unusual, to be honest, for Quake mappers. So it was interesting seeing people play through that.
I wouldn't call them puzzles this time. They're more like obstacle courses. I like to think them that way.
I already know that we're gonna get some shit at least from from the end map because of the puzzles, but I mean it's an amazing map.
Well, I think one of the things that was probably the difficult factor with Smilecythe's map in the last episode was the timing factor. It wasn't so much, eventually figure out the puzzle. It was just you had to, jump in like a, nanosecond from one point to another. And I mean, it would make sense that, people that are casual players would have a heck of a time.
Yeah, they're not that tight this time.
They're what?
They are not that tight. You got time to think.
Oh, okay.
But they're still hard. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a Smilecythe map. I mean, it's that. I mean, of course, I would.
Oh, go on.
I was gonna say I would expect it.
Yeah. Well, I think that Smilecythe's smej 1 map is like id level stuff if you compare it to this second one.
Wow, really?
Pretty much, yeah.
You have to see it yourself.
Oh, I will. I'll definitely check it out later. You said, I mean, I played all the way through those 2 maps that I hit, but you said, Dump Truck, you were actually able to look around at at all the maps?
I've not seen all the maps, but all the ones that were secretly smuggled over to me, I did fly through the rest of them last night just in preparation for this. So
yeah,
definitely some epic vistas and set pieces and things. I can't wait to kind of dive in. Even the one that said 600 on enemies on normal, it was like that was Mazu's map. Yeah, last night when I don't want to give anything away because like I said, my jaw hit my desk on some of these maps. I'm like, I'll just do no target, no clip, and what?
We can talk about anything besides the custom boss we have.
Right. Okay.
We're ready to talk anything
yeah,
else.
I mean, I don't want to give too many things away, but there's and I'm trying to figure out what map I'm on because I can't pronounce Elian Holvit.
Elin Holvit.
Elian Holvit. And that's
Elias Waltz.
Why don't I have the read? Oh, I don't have the readme for that. That's why. So who did that one?
Ukko.
Okay. Yeah. There's a really nice cathedral looking thing. So Greenwood, you did see that one.
I played it.
It's actually a train station.
Oh, okay.
It's
the central train station of our capital.
It's really cool. I mean, I'm flying around it right now, just marveling. And yeah, the attention to detail is off the charts. We have 3 people on the start map. Is that because you intended it that way, or you kind of passed it around, you got sick of it? Tell us about the start map.
So this is one more thing that I don't want to talk about, but I just copied some set pieces from Smilecythe's map and put them in there. And I did the base parts and Ukko did the rock work. He's like master on rocks and cross works.
Ditches.
Our professional ditch digger.
Yeah, he seems to have a really good knack when it comes to terrain. That was one of the maps that I did play all the way through, and what I thought was really, really cool about Ukko's map was the interconnectivity of the map.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
I mean, it's like it's almost like a Mobius strip or whatever. You kind of like go hook around this corner, then you end up on the top, and you look down, you're like, whoa, that's where I started. It really has a nice flow in the way it loops around. It's you at a couple points I thought, am I getting lost? And then I would just turn around. I'm like, oh, that's I would instantly get my bearings, and I thought it was really, really well done as far as the route or the route.
How did you decide on themes? Was it just open to everyone? Because this Ukko map sort of feels like a Christmas Jam map at the beginning, and then it goes into more honey territory. So
I did the progression plan, and I laid out some watch for each people. Well, not for each people, but for each map. Then I gave out the progression plan and let people pick if they had what they wanted to do, and then I assigned the rest. So this is more cohesive package overall than the first one.
One thing I think we did a lot better in this episode is the continuation of the maps.
So it just doesn't end in slip gates or whatever. Yeah. Right? There's some continuation between the maps.
And you had me confused, Ziggy, and at the end of your map 1, I don't want to give anything away, but I was like, wait a minute, where do I go?
Staring through the window. How do I get in there?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just putting it away. There are 2 exits on the first map. And the
spoiler.
The other one isn't the secret exit.
Yeah, it's not a secret exit.
They both work, but it's not the secret exit.
They both work
Oh.
and they take you to the same level, but to a different place.
Oh, interesting.
You know, I love Ziggy's secrets, or at least the 3 that I found. There was a couple that were, shall we say, diminutive buttons. So, but I like that because you could easily miss the secret, but if you slow down and just look around, you'll be able to find them. And I've done that a couple times on other maps, and it's fun to see someone else do it 10 times better than I.
Oh, come on. No, glad you liked it.
I found quite a few as well, and I got a kick out of the secrets were all tied into like the fellow mappers in the episode.
Yeah. I found Newhouse's backpack. if you're looking for it.
Yeah, we're all in there somewhere.
Did you notice anything when you found the backpack?
I can give you another spoiler.
Yeah, no. I didn't.
The snow.
I may have, but I don't know.
The snow in the open area on my map.
I did notice that, yes.
That's the map of Finland.
Oh, check you out.
And the bodies that scattered around the level, as in the mappers, have a backpack beside them. Once you pick up the backpack, there's a red dot submerging from the snow on the map.
Oh wait, you're giving away the super secret now.
No, that's
not a secret.
It's not a secret.
Well, there were some areas of your map where I was like, "Oh, I found a secret." I'm like, "Oh no, I guess not." I mean, it was just I was opening my eyes and going to places that you could see. But yeah, fun, all kinds of fun Easter eggs and little things. Also, in that end battle on map 1, I noticed the trim on the wall is if I'm not mistaken, the Finnish flag. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it's just kind of a hint of it. But yeah, I mean, it's all the maps that I saw have their own unique identity. But yes, I did notice that you did transition from one level to the next really well. And then
I emphasize the guys that their own personal style should be visible on the maps. Even though we're using a shared team, I wanted everyone's style to show up, just because we aren't getting paid for this.
Well, it definitely does. It's really cool.
Oh, most
Right.
definitely. I think I just I messaged Ziggy earlier, and when I chatted with Mazu, another one of the mappers in the episode, I think it's probably one of the, your map in particular, Ziggy, is probably one of the better ick base maps I've ever seen. Because that's a texture set that is not necessarily the easiest one to work with.
Well, thank you.
And it turned out really fantastic. And yeah, it's
It's a base that feels kind of fresh, even though it uses that older texture set.
Well, yeah, I was talking. Actually, I mentioned the topic of ick base as a texture set was discussed in the Dwell chat room the other, earlier today, and Bal was saying that it's probably one of the first custom texture sets ever made for Quake. That's an old one, so it's kind of neat to go.
Yeah,
back
I think
to
it's from '97.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's I guess it was with it was with Fingers that he did, that was his, base map typically is the first map of an episode, and that was his first map of his episode. So yeah, it goes way back. So did you make quite a few custom textures to accompany that
On my base map.
Yeah.
No, I just they're standard id textures. Then it's the a.k.a. textures, and then I borrowed a few from.
There was also Quake 2 and
from Quake 2.
And what's the AD map?
Terror Fume.
Yeah.
Okay. So you basically work with what you could find, but I mean the overwhelming majority is Ick base.
Yeah.
No, it's well, with the combination worked out very well.
Now talk about the addition of new enemies, because you have in this first map, you have some transformations that happen that are really fun little set pieces, and you have enemies that we may not have seen in Smej, the original Smej. So talk about the decision to add some new bad guys.
So we have 4 new enemies and 1 custom boss. The first new enemy you encounter is a white dog. That's from the Blue episode. Does Newhouse want to say something about it?
Well, it was a custom-made dog model, and its skin was replaced.
And the skin was what? I didn't catch that last part.
Skin was replaced by, well, originally it was borrowed from sampler skin, and during compressor or something, there was some yellow dots that was full bright. So thankfully, as a Smej team fixed that issue. And
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's
I think Smilecythe took care of the Fulbrights.
Yeah, Smilecythe removed the Fulbrights and I added to the model.
Now, they're kind of shambler doggies, right? So they have higher damage.
They are higher damage, but they are modified dogs, so they die a little easier, but they do way more damage.
Right, and they make a big mess when they.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are fun because they seem faster as well. I guess that's a copper thing, but yeah, it's kind of fun to have new bad guys kind of.
And they look
out.
nasty as well.
Yeah, they look like you don't want them to touch you, like you back away instinctively, which is that's what I was trying to jabber on about.
But they actually kill the player quite quickly if you don't shoot them down immediately.
Don't try to pet them.
And so now there's also a new rocket enforcer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we call it the Devastator.
Devastator, that's right.
He has a rocket and a laser pistol.
Cool.
The trick with him is don't try to keep your distance. Try to get close to him.
That took me a while to figure out, but yeah, you're right. It's just try to get in there. How many? Now, is there a limit to the rockets, or that's just the range attack?
It's a range thing. I won't tell any more about it.
No, okay, yeah.
Then there's yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. Plus, he's a real tanky bastard.
Yeah.
You gotta really unload some ammo into that guy. He's it's almost like you took the Enforcer and the Hell Knight and a bazooka guy and kind of merged them together to make one big badass mofo.
It's a 5 super shotgun shots.
Oh, okay. So five SSGs takes him down.
Yeah.
I was mostly using the super nail gun and just basically holding the left mouse button down until he dropped. And
Wait, you found the super nail gun? I didn't find it.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no super nail gun until the third map.
I was gonna.
Then I was holding down the left mouse button on the regular nail gun. It was nails. I know that.
There were nails involved.
There was nails. Okay, so I got the weapon wrong. My bad.
No. So Immorpher, now, have you done new music and sound design for this version of Smej?
Yeah. So it's again going to have a completely original soundtrack, and I did the sound design. So like the VuRRKa is the one that does a lot of the Enforcer sounds, and he sent them to me to edit and make the walkie-talkie effects going into that 8-bit format. And there's sounds that Ziggy's used and stuff like that I've gone through. And it was pretty much after Smej 1, I was seeing people play it, and they were suffering to my music, and oddly that was a delight for me. So pretty much after that, everyone was saying like, if there's going to be a smej2, we'll all be involved. And so we agreed to do that. And then in the summer, VuRRKa came out with like a roadmap, and mappers started going. I started my synthesizer just generating permutations of just weird sounds, and I put them in a working directory. So as mappers were going along, developing their style and their themes of the map, they could pick something that might start sounding good to them, and then I could start working with it. Yeah, and then as time went on, they would sneak to me like screenshots and stuff like that. And then when December hit, things became quite rough. So in the last podcast I was on, I talked about how I have my music on my Bandcamp and how I have like a pay-as-you-want model. So on there, basically, the music's free for everybody. So if you're making a map, don't feel obliged to pay me any music. Just take it and use it, and let me know they're using it. You don't have to, but I just like to see where my music's used, because I'll likely want to play it because it's in the themes I like. And but when I was talking about that, when people pay me money, I was saying, oh yeah, when I get money from Bandcamp, pretty much it ends up going to my mom, where I would help out her house or anything like that, or if she needed any bills paid. And she knows nothing about Quake nor dark ambient music, so she's probably like, where this money was coming from. But in December, my mom passed away, and I talked to the smej guys, and I was like, I don't know when I'm going to be back around to produce music and whatnot. And I was pretty much just giving them permission to forge on ahead without me, because I didn't know when my mind was going to be back in the game. And luckily, those guys, they were very supportive of me. They sent me messages and are saying, you just take your time, do what you need to do. We want you to still be involved in this project. And then, yeah, so it took me a couple weeks, and one of the first things I was thinking about Ziggy, how he lost his friend, and how Quake helped him get through that. And I was just thinking about that, and maybe the guys will have noticed, but then late December, I really started kicking things into gear. I started just doubling down on the music. I was putting like the feelings I have of lost and being confused into the tracks themselves. And because as Ranger, as you're playing through Quake, it's going through these bizarre environments where you're kind of on the edge of madness and you're kind of lost. And I was like, just let me put these feelings I have into this music and help me get through this. And it's really brought me closer to Quake, and really has brought me closer to the community, and it's become something special. With smej2, I have a bunch of tracks in there, and some of those tracks, they fit well for the levels, but the way they kind of are progressing, I wouldn't have them as tracks I would just listen to on my own. But for smej2, every one of these tracks is something that I would listen to on my own. It became something to help me mentally cope with not only 2020, but the loss I had in December. And it's been really nice. And also, 2020 was the year of the Quake soundtrack being DMCA'd on YouTube. And yeah, so we lost. So if a lot of people want to stream Quake, it's going to be a problem if they have the original Quake soundtrack. And VuRRKa came to me and said, oh, maybe we can do something for this. And I was thinking like, oh, I have some of these dark ambient tracks I produce that are more upbeat, because I feel like if you're going to do a end of level screen or a finale screen, you want to have something more upbeat. And because you want the player to suffer a little bit. Well, at least I want the player to suffer a little bit, and the Finnish brethren want the players to suffer a little bit during the maps. But then after you beat that map, you want the sounds of victory. And so I had some of these more intense dark ambient tracks. I was like, oh, maybe I could use it. But then, as I started thinking about it, I won't spoil it for anybody, but I took something. There's an inspiration of mine who's very friendly to the modding community, and everything that he has done is free to use for the modding community. And I was able to, with a buddy of mine, during last year, we were able to rip some of these tracks out of some code, and I took them and I remixed them and made them into higher quality versions with different instruments, updated for smej2. I won't tell people what they are, but they ended up being very special to me and in homage to some of my inspirations. And this whole project has become quite special. And if I can have any of my music associated with that, I've greatly appreciated it.
Nice. Well, you helped out quite a bit, Immorpher, for the episode that I organized. EOE, the Epics of Enmity, and afterwards, when that whole, what you call it, the DMC or what the heck it was,
the Digital Millennium Copyright Act of 2020.
DMCA.
When that hit, what I did is I gathered up some tracks. Quite a few are from you, and I made that alternate Quake music pack that I put out there. And I know Ziggy, I think's been using it, haven't you, Ziggy?
Yep.
Yep. And I've been using it as well in my YouTube playthroughs, because it's and both Ziggy and I think Tribal Quake as well. Quite a few folks reached out to me because we started getting hit with our content being marked as being on the naughty list.
Yeah, copyright strikes.
Yeah, violations. So just keep in mind, that alternate Quake music pack that's being used by a lot of people. A good chunk of that's your stuff in there. So we do appreciate what you've done. So
yeah, well, for overall in the Quake community, I've been very surprised about how well it's been received, because I started it off as a very experimental project, and the community has been so welcoming. It's really made my 2020, it could have gone much worse, and in some ways it did, but it really uplifted the year for me, and for 2020 we all could use that. And it was nice seeing when people were playing smej2 and their comments on the tracks, and people were diving into the files and grabbing the tracks and playing them on their streams and stuff like that. That was really nice. And I've been intending on putting some of these tracks into albums for years now. But I'm such a stickler for the album art that if I don't get the album art right, I won't release it. So now I have a backlog of 2 albums worth of tracks, at least, that I want to put up on my page eventually. But I've been talking to a few people who are going to take the bullet and generate some sort of album art, and then hopefully I can get that out there. And I asked them specifically to do some Quake references to not only honor the people in Smej making the maps and using my music, but the Quake community in general, because it's been really great.
Yeah, that's really great to hear. You've made such an impact, and it really does help the whole vibe of the Smej1 and now Smej2. It just gives you this oppressive, you want to fight against the music in certain ways. You want to overcome what's being put upon you. I'm getting a little deep here, but that's how I was feeling last night, trying to get through some of the fights and things.
Yeah. I want them to set up an environment where it feels like you're part of the environment, but you don't belong, And that's probably what 2020 feels like to a lot of people, that we're part of this year, but it doesn't feel like we belong. And I kind of wanted to, and that's a lot of the feelings I had when my mom passed away, that the world was changed, and it was an imposter world, and I wanted to put that in the track. So you're feeling part of the level, but you're also having to battle that level. And then when it came to the stat screen music and the finale music, then I was like, okay, I want to make these uplifting to make the player feel like they've been accomplished, that they've endured the suffering and they've become better for it, and now they can move on and suffer in the next map and get a higher victory and a higher victory and a higher victory.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's well, and I know a lot of folks are really anticipating this new episode. I know a couple guys already that they're literally it's like they're jonesing for a fix of the new smej episode. So we're dying to see it. Well, you said when do you think the final ETA is gonna the arrival's gonna be?
Yeah, we're aiming for the 27th. Saturday, 27th.
Ooh, okay. So only 10, 11 days away. That's cool. Great.
Yeah, we recorded some trailer footage last night. I'm not sure when it's going to be ready.
It will be done once we are happy with it.
Yeah,
soon, trademark.
Hashtag soon.
Yeah.
Are you talked when I was talking about taking out that one Devastator guy. Are all the maps able to play with a shotgun start?
Yeah, that's a plan.
Okay, good.
That's how we tested them.
Yeah, okay. I figured so because again, I because of timing, I was only able to hit two of them. I hit Ziggy's, the start one, the first one, and then I jumped into Uko's map because I remember from the first episode that Uko's map, was not as intensive, more exploratory type of deal, and I thought maybe it was going to be very similar.
He told me in advance that he wanted to do something very different for this one.
Yeah, well, I figured that out pretty quickly, but I was able to get through it, and then I was thinking to myself, I loaded that up and played it at a different time. So I shotgun started that one. So I'm thinking, I wonder if they're all able to be they're all beatable by shotgun start, and that's good to hear because I know a lot of folks, they might want to just jump in like a co-op type deal, or just just on their own. Like they don't want to. Maybe they want to jump right in. Maybe they just want to jump right in the Smilecythe map.
Yeah, good luck with
I'm
that.
sure there's someone who does that.
Or maybe they want to just jump into who's got the 1,000 some odd enemies.
Mazu, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's gotta be Mazu's map.
Mazu. I was going to say, if there are any aspiring Iron Men out there, you may want to try Smilecythe's map first, right? It looks like some of these will get a little intense. Mazu's, seriously, Greenwood, you need to no-clip through that map, as soon as possible. Just
which one?
Mazu.
Fifth one.
5.
Oh, Mazu. I can already imagine. It's like I just got done. I got done doing a video not even a week ago on Mazu's first map. I mean, his very first map, and that thing is huge. And I think that one had almost 300 people in it. It's if Mazu ever comes out with a map with 30 guys, I'm gonna call I'm gonna contact Ziggy. I'm gonna be like, is he okay?
Yeah, someone has naked pictures of him or something on the internet.
Is he feeling all right? Because I know something's not right. Because it's got to be. His maps are typically very, very large. Don't get me wrong, they're well thought out. But they're usually big and chock full of dudes. I mean, they don't call him hardcore Mazu for for nothing. So
he's actually the most experienced of us. He started as a Doom mapper.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah, in fact, he showed me the other day some of his. It was like a Doom episode that he was working with a friend. And,
I think it was his brother.
Yeah, and then And I mean, and I looked at these maps, and I'm like, these were huge maps and very intricate. And I'm like, oh, what happened to it? He's like, oh, we never released it. I'm like, what? I mean, so yeah, I can just imagine I think somebody asked him at one point in the chat, they're like, how many maps do you think you've made? And all he said was too many. so he's made one or two maps, that's for sure.
So that makes a lot of sense that he would like the high enemy count, because you can throw as many Doom monsters in a Doom map that you please, up to like 10,000 or something crazy.
You can literally go nuts with it.
Yeah. So he's trying to enforce that in Quake to great effect. One thing I wanted to ask you all about was the national pride that you have as Finnish or Suomi. And in the README, now this was in smej2, I'm talking to the audience here, there are, you have the Finnish name, the English name, the author, and then you've got a reference. And each of these references are part of your culture. So do you want to talk a little bit about that? And there's like a meme in here.
Well, the second one has memes, and the reference is kind of like when Finland is mentioned somewhere outside its borders, people go nuts. Everyone is ready to celebrate just because somebody said Finland somewhere. So we added some references to each map.
That's great. Yeah. So
this is such a small country. I mean, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was in the news that Dwayne Johnson had mentioned a Finnish guy on his Instagram.
Yeah, it reaches national news status every time.
That
wow.
shit.
So I have a good friend who's Suomi, and now he's been here for many years now, but very thick accent, and he's very Finnish, and but so you're telling me when he goes back to Finland to visit, he's going to be a celebrity because he lives in Southern California?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all
Prime
making
Minister.
sense now. No, he's a good guy. Yeah, so I think for anyone who's not familiar with the first Smej, first of all, stop what you're doing and play it. It's really special. And then this new version, like I say, kind of goes up to 11. But the READMEs are interesting because you'll learn something about Finland. Like, so Disco Coffee Maker reference in Mazu's map. The winner device of a Finnish inventor TV show made by the YouTube star Marco Repairs.
Yeah, so everyone picks their own reference, and I try to explain it in a few sentences in the text file, and it's really a pain. Check the next one.
A meme about ice fishing. Kahen Kilan Sika. A meme about ice fishing men reeling up 4-pound whitefish.
Wait,
Yes.
is the Marco Repairs the VCR guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's him.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
I want to see this Disco Coffee Maker.
that would be kind of a hard one to explain in a short amount of time. So you need the visuals for that one.
I'm sure
Yeah,
they're
there are
somewhere in the
visuals.
map.
Don't
Yeah,
worry.
They got to be somewhere in the map, right?
Yep.
Great.
Whenever possible, I've been helping with the English wording whenever possible. But most of the time, these guys are better and more fluent at English than I am. So I just make it worse.
Well, you guys are very self-deprecating. I know VuRRKa is and Ziggy is, and it's like, why? You guys are bilingual. I know sort of English.
He barely speaks English.
I barely speak at all. I
I
grunt.
can barely speak 4 languages, come on.
There's certain personalities that come with being Finnish, and so I'm my family. I grew up in the United States, but all my relatives come from Finland, and those traditions kind of pass on. And one of those traditions is to be kind of humble, not to put yourself out in the front.
Yeah,
And
it's actually frowned upon for speaking of what you've done or showing your works to other people. It's really frowned upon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I remember being young at a funeral, and my family was sitting there at the back, and the pastor specifically mentioned that, oh, they're at the back being good Finns, just not so you're not up in front, you know.
Wow.
We show up when we're needed.
We've got an interloper here. Smilecythe has joined us. Smile, welcome. Smile, you there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, now. What should Smile talk about? We want to hear, is it secret?
Well,
I don't think there's secrets.
I can say we probably have Smilecythe now in the more appropriate map position, considering how impressive his talents are and the way he likes to map.
Yeah, well, just basically, is there anything, Smilecythe, that you'd like to tell people out there about the upcoming episode?
Well, it's gonna be wonderful.
Sparkly and wonderful.
I agree.
That sounds great to me. I
Wonderful
agree.
how?
In a very spectacular way.
What's up with the difficulty of your maps?
I don't know, I just like to make them that way.
That's good. Now, can you finish your own maps?
Sure.
Okay.
Everyone can.
Just double checking. Yeah, everybody but me. No, actually.
I promise you can finish it too, but it take a few hours.
Yeah, Ziggy shared a little tiny snippet of something, and I was like, wow, okay, I'm ready.
What was the snippet about?
It kind of reminded me of guitar strings or a piano, right, Ziggy? Is that fair?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a very small video snippet, just to whet our appetites.
Back in smej2, Smilecythe had a video of him playing through his map in parts, and it was on like the hardest difficulty, and it looked so easy, so effortless, like a ballet to him, you know, because he's good at doing a lot of this kind of deathmatch stuff and multiplayer stuff, and him just going through that map was like in a flow state. So yeah, he can definitely beat his maps and more.
Well, what I think, you know, with Smilecythe's map in the last episode and his map in the January Jump Jam was not only, you know, of course, you know, the difficulty. A lot of people tend to just focus on that, but I mean, yes, the aesthetically, the looks of them are always quite gorgeous. But also another thing that some folks don't discuss not enough, in my opinion, is a lot of the inventive stuff, a lot of the you know, just the mechanics involved.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the you know, it's there's a lot of things I've seen in his maps that I've never seen before.
Correct. And
you
trim too, like the master of all trim.
It's not every brick is a brush, but every brush is a trim.
What surprised me so much in Smej is all the talent of all the mappers in one country, you know. Like I was on a stream a couple months ago, and the guy was talking about Newhouse, and the guy said that he believed Newhouse was the best contemporary Quake mapper. And then you have VuRRKa with all of his experience. I remember playing his map first in smej2, and I was like, wow, I can't believe that they let me be a part of this. And then if you play Ziggy's maps within the past year, he's only been mapping for like a year, just a little bit more than a year now. And, well, I guess 2 years if you count when he first started, but releasing maps within a year. They're amazing. You know, I sent Ziggy's A Verdant Dawn to one of my friends who got out of Quake playing for a while, and it brought him back in. And then you have Smilecythe, you know, when he submitted his first smej2 map, and because it was the first level, and we seen how detailed it was, and I was like, what? And I know he's done some multiplayer stuff, but it came as like a surprise, you know, how much detail he's had, and now there's like Lugia coming in, bringing in some a unique take, you know, and I I sat and talked with him a while of what kind of music that he would want in there, and I won't spoil it too much, but I was thinking back, like when things are very foggy, they get quiet, and when things are quiet, it doesn't mean that they're silent because you hear yourself. And if you're old guys like me, you have ringing in your ears. When things are very silent, you can hear like a slight hum. And when I was looking at screenshots of Lugia's map, and I was like, yeah, I really want to recreate that in the track, and yeah, so it's just amazing that how many are Finns just born to be Quake mappers or what?
No kidding. Yeah, I mean, I agree. The level of talent, even for folks that are new, is pretty staggering. And you have great discipline as far as releasing screenshots and keeping everything on the DL until it's the appropriate time. So good for you, because I think more recently people have been doing that in the community, but a lot of mappers, just show a lot of screenshots, and you guys are kind of have your cards close to your vest. Now, Smilecythe, question for you. How did you why did you pick the theme that you chose this time around?
Well, the theme is based on Quake 2's Airwalk, and there happened to be Quake 2 texture WADs in the choice of WADs when we were talking in the group, so I just decided to pick that one.
Ziggy, what about your a.k.a. or I.k.a. I should say?
Well, VuRRKa gave me, I think it was IK base plus Quake 2 base.
Yeah, there was IK for the graphs because he's a Finn too. I tried to contact him if he wanted to join us for this May, but I couldn't get a hold of him. He's a 3D designer at Wall these days. He made maps for Team Fortress 2.
Oh, okay. Team Fortress 2. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, he's a real pro now. And Quake 2 was there because we really fell in love with Travail, or Travail. How do you say it?
Yeah, Travail.
We really fell in love when we were doing the coop video for it.
Yeah, you guys did that not too long ago, didn't you?
Yeah, well, it takes time to find all the secrets because we do a 100% coop playthroughs, and we play it through many times.
That reminds me of something I was thinking about last night. God, I can't wait to watch some of the streams of this stuff, because these maps, I'm just hyping this. These maps are really special through all this. Now, you focused on co-op. You used some of the new features in Copper, correct?
Well, from the start, we designed for co-op and single player. It's not just added spawns, but it is planned for.
We're doing the co-op stuff simultaneously while we work on the maps.
Who was the one involved in adding the extra enemies?
So most of the heavy lifting was done by Samplernaut and Lunaran, and I'm not much of a coder myself, but I'm able to use other people's code for my own nefarious needs.
Enough to be dangerous. I gotcha. What do you call it? So you actually got so Lunaran himself actually helped out.
Yeah, he's a really helpful guy when people use his copper mod.
I mean, why wouldn't? I mean, you guys are promoting the heck out of his mods, so that makes sense. And I've worked with Shamblernaut myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, and just for the record, Lunaran is helpful even if you're not using Copper, because he helped me out with Prague Stump too. So thank you, Lunaran. Appreciate it.
No, Lunaran's a great guy. I don't
want to go that
far. Totally agree.
Kidding.
That's cool. So Lunaran and Shamblernaut. That's great. So you said with the new enemies, you got the dog, the Devastator, and there's what you said. There's
Centaur Plane Centurion from Rubicon, the flying Nelkan guy.
Okay, yeah.
Just to replace cracks on base maps.
Right. So Rot Mauler.
Yeah, it's the dog.
Devastator, Spectre.
Spectre is the fantasy version of the Devastator, but he's flying.
And then Nuljaska.
Nuljaska is the boss, and we won't spoil it.
Yeah, everyone's favorite this time, electrically charged.
A flying fantasy devastator. That sounds pretty
Yep.
nasty.
Yeah, it might be.
I had fun helping coming up with some of the enemy descriptions. So if you read through the README, it's kind of like Quake, where they have enemy descriptions. And
Eager to rip apart unsuspecting prey.
yes, and I always have like a sci-fi theme between in my back of my mind. So a lot of people think about Lovecraftian fantasy, and I usually, it's my background in science, I usually try to tie it into sciences. And so I think I put in some one of there that they have 1 foot in one dimension and our foot in this dimension, and that's what produces their odd appearance.
And read through the README if you want.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
What do you want me to read?
How about the new monsters? I mean,
Oh, okay. So Rot Mauler, once earthly canines, these abominations have been defiled by the essence of their elder gods, endowing them with otherworldly ferocity. Centurion, tearing the technology from decaying human outposts, the Centurions had obtained nail guns and hover capabilities for rapid assault. Devastator, rocket warfare is no longer the sole domain of humans, as the Devastators have equipped themselves with deadly rocket launchers in addition to their laser pistols. Okay, Spectre. Combining the knowledge passed down from the Elder Gods with Slipgate technology, the ghostly specters stand between dimensions, eager to rip apart unsuspecting prey. And then Nulyaska, everyone's favorite, this time electrically charged.
Nulyaska might be your biggest fear. And the Devastator became everyone's favorite.
Yeah, they're cool. I mean, feels different fighting those guys.
Yeah. I designed most of them and then we tuned them together.
No, it's like Smilecythe said, it should be marvelous. Well, I'm excited. So,
Newhouse, go ahead.
Okay, so that I have given everyone to speak their mind out, I would like to add some history, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So there was no talk about my smej2 map at all, because I'm very late, but I'm going to make the deadline. And that map, well, I was going through a lot of different layout ideas, how to paste on map. So I ended up looking to my history, and there was this one project you dumb truck might remember. It was called Dark Saga. So
I do remember.
yeah, and I made like 2 to 3 maps based on some medieval themes, and because their connector was quite nice, I was thinking, why not just turn it into Hexen 2 snow theme and make it into one giant map. And I don't know what happened. SMC team was kind of giving me some flames under my arse, so I started mapping really hard, and I guess this is going to be my biggest map so far. Yes.
Which is saying a lot, because I've seen, I mean, you make really intricate, crazy gameplay levels, so that's really exciting. And one thing I will say that I know you've been busy with all kinds of projects, but we haven't seen a Newhouse map in a while, so I think it's going to be worth the wait, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, at least I think this map surely will be probably my best effort, but it can be quite mixed opinion, because my maps kind of consist a lot of traps, and secrets can be so obscure and hard to find, and so yeah.
It will fit right in.
And it wouldn't feel right if there wasn't traps. That's what I've really enjoyed about Newhouse's maps, that there's always a set of anxiety as you progress through them, because you don't know what's lurking around each corner. And so then when you finally beat it, it's that sense of relief with excitement at the same time.
And one of the things that I admire about VuRRKa, his approach to this is what he had said earlier, letting everyone's personalities shine in their own maps, and that's absolutely the way to go. And Newhouse's mapping personality is so distinctive from, say, Smilecythe, or VuRRKa or Zigi. So this is going to be a really cool, cohesive experience, but still with tons of variety in gameplay. And then Mazu's crazy Gonzo style too. And then Lugia is new, correct?
Yep.
So
his first map.
Yeah, and so talk about recruiting Lugia to the team.
Well, I hang out with the Quake World guys, and I knew he started out mapping because he was asking questions about Trent's broom. So one day he ended up on Zigi's stream, and I asked if he would like to join us. And then he said what he's currently working on, and then I just set up a place for him.
Now, have you had after Smej came out, did you have anyone else kind of come out of the woodwork and say, "Hey, I'm Finnish, I'm a mapper"? Or did you?
Actually, no. We actually looked for people this time to join us, but none made it.
So you guys are the representative mappers of Finland of all.
I guess so. There's Albert. I asked him. He said he was busy with other work. Dragu wasn't interested. I couldn't get a hold of IK. Ing and Night Elven isn't with us.
Yeah, they had other stuff. So
yeah.
Ing and Night Elven were a part of the episode from the beginning, but they
dropped out.
They had to drop out.
That's too bad. Well, smej2, right? Is this going to be a yearly thing, you think?
If it's up to me, I don't think so.
This one is...
It's hard to top this one out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're saying it's going to be hard to top this one?
Yep.
Okay, I believe it.
Did we talk about the name?
Maybe in 5 years we can do a smej2.
Yeah, what's the name of? Because the other one was Menetetin Valdecunda.
Yeah, the first one was Realm of the Lost, and this is Torrent of Impurities.
Torrent. I don't want to download that.
Epäpuhtauksien Virta.
Oh, do it again.
Epäpuhtauksien Virta. You're getting a kick out of it.
Torrent. I've got too much caffeine. That's my issue. Torrent of Impurities?
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, and as you start approaching the end of the episode, you will start realizing what that actually means and the suffering it will bring to you.
It says with glee.
Coincidentally, it's my map at the end, so...
No, I mean, it's you guys started. I mean, you guys have been working on this. Like, who was VuRRKa? I think said starting in May.
Yep.
And you're still wrapping it up. That's a long Yeah, I mean, I was surprised after the first episode. I think it was maybe it was Ziggy. It was like, yeah, we're starting on number 2. I'm like, God, I mean, the body's not even cold yet. It's like you guys are already starting on the next one. So yeah, I can imagine that you would probably need to, take a break, at least for like a year or whatever, just to get things reorganized or whatever. Maybe some of like Dump Truck said, maybe some of the original folks could come back and participate. But yeah, it's if the maps, these maps are big and elaborate maps. You definitely don't want to suffer from burnout, because that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, I kind of burned out after the first one. It was practically me and Newhouse who made the patch for the first one, and it was 2 weeks, I think. Was it 3?
Oh man!
Plus, eventually you're going to start running out of like Finnish trivia and customs to interject into your maps.
Yeah, we just have to wait for more.
Yeah.
Well,
no, we need to make more.
You got Dwayne Johnson now, so you got at least one.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we do have to wrap up. So let's go for final thoughts from everybody. Just go right down the list. We'll go Immorpher, Newhouse, Smile, VuRRKa, Ziggy.
It's been a ride through both smej2 and smej2. I've been really appreciative of them inviting me to join, and I've been able to express some feelings out in the music I've created for it, and it's really helped me along these past few years. And I thank the Quake community. I thank all the Finns in Smej, and I thank the Quakecasters.
Newhouse.
Well, right after releasing the first Smej, well, we were kind of burned out a little bit. So I decided to take it easy and give the leader role to VuRRKa. So everyone can just do whatever they want to do. So I'm not dictating or leading or anything. But in other hand, I was kind of lost quite a long time. Took me about a year to finally figure out what kind of map would be very special. But thankfully, deadline is extended, so everything is now going smoothly and what it should be. Yeah,
that's great. And just as Newhouse and I have been friends for a long time, and I've always admired your work. So it's really a pleasure to talk to you. And now, Smilecythe.
I think we learned a lot from the first episode. I think we're much more organized this time, and we have more cohesive understanding how to do the progression from map to another. So I think that's going to be better this time around. So yeah, look forward to that.
VuRRKa.
Well, I just want to thank all of you for joining me. Last time I had to be here alone. I was nervous as hell. And if someone's wondering how are we working with all of the things, we have a cloud which we all have access to, and we upload and download and sync files via that.
Nice. All right, and last but certainly not least, Ziggy, final thoughts on smej2.
I'm just looking forward to the 27th to get it out and watch people play it. That's about it.
It's worth the wait.
Yeah, definitely worth the wait. It's a good episode. Trust me.
I want to thank all our guests for joining us today, and Greenwood, of course, for being a great co-host, and especially Immorpher, who kind of saved my butt with a backup recording of this interview. It wouldn't have sounded as good with my original recording, unfortunately. So thank you, Immorpher. Also, our music is by the talented Michael Markey, and we'll be back with a new episode very soon.